Hi, everyone. It is Becky Livingston from Penheel Marketing, and today we're going to talk about three buyer persona hacks that you can use to attract your target audience. Let's get started. Before we begin, let's talk a little bit about what a buyer persona is. Those are the people that we plan to market our goods and services to, and it's really important for business owners to define who those people are prior to developing any kind of content marketing strategy. Our goal is to provide them with maybe information or tips or tools to help them reduce their pain points while considering your product or service as a solution. So the more we know about our buyers, the better off we can start to develop content that's going to attract them. We can start out with names of this mysterious buyer. We just call them something. Add some descriptions about these people, their age, their location, their occupation, maybe their income, or possibly things like some of their goals, what motivates them to do what they do, what frustrates them in their business or in their job? What is it about them that makes them tick? And one of these things I really love is the inspirational quote that, why do they do what they do? Like Cody here has, there are no silly questions. He's an instructor. Love that. There are no silly questions. His thought process is to build people up, educate, provide information to help his students be successful. So there's lots of things we can develop content to help him be successful if he was one of your clients. Other things that we might look at is a personality. What kind of language do they use in their day-to-day interactions with other people? Is it high level language, multi-tiered? Is it conversational? Is it acronyms? What kind of things do they use when they're speaking with other people? This helps you to develop content that resonates with them. It's kind of like a be like me syndrome. Who influences them? Where do they get their information? What's important to them? Brands, applications they might be using, interests that they might have outside of their job, and resources of other types of information. Where do they get their information from? The reason we look at that is because each one of these elements helps us to create custom content for their brand and each buyer persona type that we want to develop for our people. Looking at using activities focused on language, images, social media platforms, hashtags, and more things like that help us to create a content plan that's going to resonate with them, draw them toward us, and then also help to engage. We take the time to narrow our markets into three different sections. We have our primary targets, our secondary targets, and our reach markets or tertiary markets. And I often talk to my clients about this about how often should we look at those buyer personas? Do we do it on a large marketing campaign basis, maybe an annual basis or at goal meetings, or in cases when brands or products are changing? Any of those are great times to revisit your brand personalities and the buyers that you're trying to target. If you're retiring any services or products, that's another time to go look at your buyer personas and retire the personas that go with that. The next thing we want to be thinking about is getting laser focused. So, knowing your who, what, why, and how of social media. Who are you specifically trying to help? What problem do you solve for your clients? Why should your audience care about the products and services that you offer? And finally, how will your solution improve their life or business? Having that available to your customers and potential customers, leads, and prospects is really important in developing a content and marketing funnel that's going to not only engage them, but to also move them down the line to buy, to purchase your services, to buy your products, and to come back and do it again and again. And then possibly even becoming an influencer for your brand. Okay, so we've talked about a few things now. Let's get right into those hacks. The first buyer persona hack that we want to look at is sounds so simple, but it's fun, but it's really not something people do very often. Creating a poll for your customer base or your market. Ask them very simple questions that might seem a little off the wall, but it helps you to define who they are. Here's an example. What kind of movies do you like to watch? And the type that you list there, the different genres that you list, help you to create scenarios and content examples. For example, headlines. Dramatic headlines are very different than sci fi headlines. Action headlines are very different from romance headlines. So, depending on where your market comes in at, will help you to say, what kind of headlines should we be looking at? And also, it helps you to inform future storylines and promotions and what types of graphics you're using, what type of media do they consume, all of that. So let's say a sci-fi and action, very fast paced. The music's going to be kind of intense. But when we look at drama and romance, it's a whole different kind of language and different kind of shift from frame to frame if you're using video and even music placement. All of that starts to resonate with your customers and to draw them in toward your brand. The second hack I like to talk about, and everybody talks about split testing, but a lot of people still don't do it. Test everything that you're doing, headlines, subject lines, bits of content, calls to action, button colors, landing page graphics. You name it, test it. If you don't test it, you're not going to know. And the last hack I have is search engine optimization. Now, this might sound crazy, but did you know that creating content using a question headline often lands you higher in the search rankings than maybe a more traditional headline? I don't know if you knew that, but it's true. And here's an example. So, a headline like, Why is my business failing? Could potentially rank higher than a headline that says 5 reasons your business is failing. And the reason is particularly if you're using Google as your focus search engine, it's because Google likes to know that you're helping people. So those are the 3 hacks that I have: polls, creating experiences using testing, and then this SEO hack number 3. Now that you have the hacks, go out there and find your buyers. You have the tools you need to be successful in identifying who your buyers are that will be buying your services and your products. Again, I'm Becky Livingston from Penheel Marketing. Here's some different services that we offer to our clients. And remember that we help CPAs and small business owners to build muscle, marketing muscle, to be successful in what they do. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.